What is going on, everybody? Back on the New England Shakeup. It is Alex and Cam here. What's going on, Cam?
Going on? Not much. Ready to get into it.
Yeah, so we're back with another episode. It's been a couple months since we've been able to put out some episodes here on YouTube, but we got a lot of stuff to cover today. We got a lot to cover. So, getting into the episode today, Cam and I really want to deep dive into who's going to be the next face of the NBA. And also, we want to just get our thoughts too of maybe what the second half of the season is really going to bring to the NBA as far as like marketing and also just overall great basketball. So, with that said, Cam, who do you got first for your face of the NBA?
Hey, definitely. My first face of the NBA, having been a Spurs fan growing up, I have to definitely go with Victor Wembanyama, the previous number one pick. And
And
just what he's been doing with kind of limited minutes, too. And I like Popovich's approach to that because a lot of taller players are just like previous MVPs, like a Derrick Rose, kind of burn out early from playing a lot of minutes their rookie year. So Wembanyama has been playing less than 30 minutes per game, so he's been playing about 28 minutes a game. And he's been averaging 20 points, 10 rebounds, and about 3 assists, which, looking at previous like Spurs number one picks, Tim Duncan put up in his rookie year 21 points, 12 rebounds, and 3 assists, and that was in 39 minutes per game. So Wembanyama's putting up similar stats in 11 less minutes, which is definitely really impressive for his like efficiency. And if he can get a point guard that sets him up maybe for easier chances, or if the Spurs were to give maybe a Trey Jones or somebody like that more minutes instead of Sohan, I think they could really unlock Wembanyama. And the Spurs could go for a player like maybe Trey Jones or Jordan Poole. Not that Jordan Poole's a setup player, but another scorer would help Wembanyama to really just unlock.
yeah. A point guard there or any scorer for that matter will really open up his ability to A, score more, B, be able to facilitate more, and C, be able to carry the team on the back that everybody's really expecting he does. I mean, that's what you have to do when you're a number one pick. That's what they expect you to do. You got to carry the franchise. And for his matter, being with the Spurs, dog, you got to carry that fucking legacy. Like, you got the greatest coach, in my opinion, that's ever coached
Yeah, definitely.
in basketball.
Yep.
Like, Popovich literally made Tony Parker.
Yeah.
Tony
Definitely.
Parker, like, if you put him on any other team,
Well, when you put him on Charlotte.
yeah, what did he do?
Yeah.
The whole system was in Popovich's head, and it all worked out in their favor for 5 fucking championships.
Yeah.
And Duncan was the sole reason behind basically the first one.
Yeah.
I mean, they had David Robinson, but like,
Yeah,
dude,
which they had to wait for. They drafted him and had
Right.
to wait. I think it was either a year or two for because he was in the army.
yeah.
They
So
drafted waiting, knowing that he'd be such a good player, which is like something with like Wembanyama. They had been looking at him before.
they've been looking at him for years to come.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that kid, I remember seeing a video of that kid in like 2018,
Oh,
and
yeah.
he was like young as fuck, but like he's still like 7 feet tall, and it's like, dude, this kid is going to be like the shit. Like,
Definitely.
and there's no really telling, like, I always worry with people that big, like their health, because
Definitely.
like you also, when you're that big, you also have to like grow into your frame of your own body, and when
Hey,
you're
definitely. Like something that's scary is he's still growing, which
is scary.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
But going back to your point, definitely the
yeah, like he has the makings to be like the greatest NBA talent we've ever seen. It's just a matter of what player that is next to him is gonna unlock that ability.
Yeah,
for him.
definitely. Or if his body holds up, there's plenty of like what ifs, like Derrick Rose or Brandon Roy, but just don't have the legs for it at the end of the day. But yeah, if Wembanyama can just keep going without any like major injuries, I know that's a biggest what if, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, the biggest what if with Wembenyama is just really just health. I mean, if he can stay healthy, I'm pretty sure we'll see what we're supposed to see. But getting to my first face of the NBA is really Anthony Edwards. And Anthony Edwards is a phenomenal talent. He's averaging about 27 and 5 a game. And he's got his team first in the West right now, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, something might have changed between the time that I'm making this with Cam, but we're going about past midnight on February 24th.
It's tied for first, but yeah. First.
Yeah, so they're tied for first right now, as Cam alluded to. What's their record?
So they're 39-16, and the Thunder 39-17.
Gotcha.
So they're a game ahead,
yeah. So it's gonna be really telling. Like if Minnesota locks up home court, like I'll ask you this, Cam. Like if Minnesota does lock up home court, are they the favorite in the West?
Definitely, and if the NBA were to end today, they'd be playing the Suns. That's the 1 versus 8 seeds.
That would be a hell of a first date.
I was about to say, I would love that matchup just like at it now.
Yeah,
or the Thunder versus the Kings would be another good one, just
right.
The West. But yeah, definitely.
And it's just like really telling. Like the play-in kind of screwed us a little bit because when you have a 7 seed and like let's say they do play the 8 seed and they do lose, they're screwed out of a playoff spot.
Yeah.
They still gotta go and travel to the next game that is, hosted by a 10 seed. But like, dude, when you're a 10 seed and you're playing one game, dude, you got nothing to lose.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, even if you lose that game, bro, you're supposed to lose that game.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no expectation that you're gonna win that. But especially on the road too for them.
Yeah, and Anthony Edwards is just such a fucking prolific talent that like Minnesota has to do right by him. When I say that, I mean like Cat's up for a max extension in 2 years. So what are you gonna do? You have 2 options. You have pay Cat or pay Ant. You can't pay fucking both of them because Minnesota has showed us before they ain't willing to go into the fucking luxury tax. They traded Kevin Garnett because Kevin Garnett wanted a fucking contract extension and they wouldn't give it to him. So Minnesota's never, and their owners are never going to open the bag. The same owners that are the Timberwolves owners are also the Twins owners. When's the last time you saw the Minnesota Twins go spend $120 million in the fucking offseason? It just doesn't happen. So they have to look like a real fucking juggernaut. Like if Minnesota, like if they don't win it all this year, that window is closed.
Yeah.
Like you lose Gobert, like let's say you get eliminated in the second round by let's say Denver, and you say, oh well, we lost to the champs of last year. It doesn't matter, bro. That Nuggets team is not the same team as last year. Like, yes, they do have some pieces on there that were from the championship run, but, dude, there's a reason why they're the 4 seed right now.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's like, you can depend on Jokic, you can depend on all these great players, but you can't really depend on one player to carry you to the conference finals and then go up against a Luka or go up against a Kevin Durant, Devin Booker-led Suns team, or go up against Sacramento, who in my opinion is the most underrated team in the West.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Because they have Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox, and if nobody fucking knows this, De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis are probably the greatest fucking point guard and pick and roll I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
like
not to mess with you.
the way that they know which player's going, which direction, what time, when to cut, when to move. They're so in sync with each other. And it's so good to see that if Sacramento can maybe get, a little bit of help, maybe somebody gets injured or something, I think they could make some noise. But I also see a path for a team like the Thunder or the Timberwolves, or maybe even the Nuggets for that matter, getting to the championship. But I'm going to go out on a limb here because this is the fucking New England shakeup. And I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say that no team in basketball right now is better than the Celtics.
I agree with that.
No team. Like, top to bottom, you start the top 5 guys, and you look at their bench. The Celtics are fucking loaded.
Yeah.
They're loaded. They have a 27 point per game score, a 25 point per game score, a 20-point per game scorer, a 15-point per game scorer, and a 12-point per game scorer, all in their starting five.
Yeah, that's crazy.
When's the last time you saw something like that? Jordan, Pippen?
Yeah.
And that's even if the others were even averaging that. You know what I mean? So it's like, this Celtics team is built for fucking greatness. They just have to know when to strike. And they striked well at the deadline. I don't know if you saw who they picked up, but they got Tillman for a second-round pick.
From near nothing, yeah.
And that's just another body. That's just another center that's going to be able to grab rebounds. It's going to be able to give Porzingis rest in the playoffs. People don't understand how big that is.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? And getting back to my original point of Anthony Edwards being the face of the NBA, you see all of these people saying that, it's going to be him. Yeah. It's going to be him. But they never give you an insight as to why, other than just the style in which he plays. But they're also not really intuitive to the fact of y'all are NBA basketball players. Y'all know, drop coverages. You know when to go over a screen. Us that watch from home, we're just watching for the entertainment piece of it. And at this point, the NBA, in my opinion, is very, very entertaining. The only thing that I would say that is kind of faltering them is LeBron ain't doing well right now.
Yeah,
so when LeBron ain't doing well, the NBA ain't doing well. And everybody knows, and everybody and their brother knows, that LeBron did not deserve that all-star starter spot.
Oh, yeah,
everybody knows that. Yeah. No 10-seed player ever in basketball, just say this straight up, has made a fucking all-star team. Just to say it like that. Me personally, LeBron, if you're listening to this, bro, we love you here on the show. We love what you've done for the game of basketball. But, dog, give it to someone else.
Yeah, or AD had that year where he could have been MVP if the Pelicans had made it to the playoffs, but they were, a 9-10 seed, and then they shunned them third or fourth or whatever.
Exactly. And when LeBron has to give it up at some point. That's the thing I'll say. He's got to give up the face of the NBA. He can't keep looking for avenues and trades and all this shit to try to loop in to try to make everything work, bro. This ain't 18. This ain't the Cavs. You know what I mean? This is real life, bro. You wanted Rui Hachimura. You wanted fucking Jared Vanderbilt. You wanted all these people last year. You got them to the conference finals. What else changed?
Yeah.
That's what I got to say about it.
And just back to the whole Anthony Edwards and Minnesota situation, I think they could definitely get a lot for Karl Anthony Towns if they were to trade him.
Yep.
I mean, not that I'd bring back Zach LaVine, but you could get a lot from a Chicago, go get DeRozan and something, or you go to the Knicks and go get Julius Randle and something, or if you wanted to go get a guard, you go get Brunson and something else. Right. You could get a lot.
I don't think, I don't think New York would trade him after the year he's having this year.
Definitely. Brunson, yeah.
But Randall I could see, and I'm gonna make a joke here. Is I call the Knicks Southpaw Central because they all fucking shoot left-handed. If you've ever watched a fucking Knicks game, they all shoot fucking left-handed. Every single one of them. If you look for, in every clip, everything, Julius Randle, if he gets a tough step back, whatever, guarding goes crazy. But, that's the thing I'll say is they're Southpaw City up there in New York. But getting deep dive back into the face of the NBA, who do you have as number 2 on your list?
Yeah, for my next one, I have to go with Luka Doncic. Especially the season he's having, but just his career in general so far. With a lot of people, that whole the draft deadline trade.
Yeah.
I mean, we've already gone into this before, but just the fact that a lot of people thought Trae Young was going to be better and that whole trade was going to benefit the Hawks. And looking back at it, I think the Hawks kind of got robbed with how good of a player Doncic is.
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely got robbed in that trade, and I think it's like one of those things the NBA will look back on and be like, how in the hell did we let this happen? It's gonna be one of those things where they don't really know what to say type of thing. It's going to be one of those things where they kind of like draw it out, long line it, and kind of just like, kind of mess with everything. So it's very telling as to see like what they do. With the NBA can't let another trade like that happen again, dude. The Hawks missed out on Luka Doncic, somebody who's averaged 30 before. Like, the motherfucker averaged 30 at one point in time. And Trae Young sitting back there, yeah, bro, I understand you got an all-star reserve spot, but you know why? It's because there's so many damn people injured. You wouldn't have got that spot if all those really people were injured. Spot, yeah. And, Trae Young, I understand it, bro. You're averaging 27 and 11, and you want all this fame and you want all this hype, bro. But guess what? You're not built like that. Yeah. He's just not. He's not somebody who is going to be a number one scorer on a championship team. He's not going to be. Yeah. He's not. The fact that, yes, don't get me wrong, incredible shooter, especially off the dribble.
Definitely.
But the comparisons to Steph were disrespectful to Steph Curry. Absolutely disrespectful. You can't bring that up. Can't even bring Trae Young and Steph Curry in the same fucking sentence. Can't.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
Yeah, he had a couple shots against the Knicks and then just blew his name out of proportion,
Yeah, everybody remembers about the nightmare at the Garden.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Everybody remembers that night in February in 2013. Little Steph Curry comes walking in the Garden. Nobody knows who the fuck he is, and he drops 54 on Raymond Felton. What happened next? He turned into God's greatest shooter ever. That's what he turned into. And I think, with Luka especially, like, he just knows and picks his spots so well. Like that slow dribble he does into the post, but the reason why he's doing it slow is because he's trying to get the backside center to drop so he can pass to the corner. Dude, the stuff he does and the things he thinks about, like, in the moment of what he's doing, and I hate to say it like this, verbatim if I do say this, but Luka Doncic plays like Allen Iverson.
Oh, yeah.
Like, dude, he literally does. The only thing that Luka does that AI didn't do was post.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. Mm-hmm. AI didn't work in the post a lot. When he did, he was effective. Yeah, but like, he didn't do it. It wasn't his go-to move. It wasn't like, AI was really trying to cross you and shake you to get either to the rim or to get a good jumper off.
Yeah, definitely.
And Luka, what he does is he goes calm with his dribble and he knows when to speed up. He knows when to slow down.
That changes speed, yeah. It's just something that a lot of NBA players don't understand.
They don't understand it, dude. And Luka is light years ahead of all of these kids that are coming in now that are 18 and 19 years old. You can't keep sending these kids that are 18, 19, 20 years old into the NBA draft. Because what happens is you stunt their growth. That's what happens. You send an 18-year-old kid to the NBA, you're stunting his growth. Unless he is the number one player in the country, he's not getting picked.
Yeah, or has played like overseas or played some professional ball before. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so they're not looking for a option for them to kind of like fucking look to. Luka is one of those players where you can defend him, but you need 3 people to defend him. And once you need 3 people to defend him, he's just passing to the other person.
Yeah.
And his passing ability is uncanny, and he needs to be looked at more as a passer, in my opinion. And I think that the biggest thing for Luka to learn from is kind of like the on-court antics, because he kind of gets all caught up with the referees and how they call shit. I think that if he wants to be the face of the NBA, he's kind of got to knock that shit off, because the NBA won't put up with it. And they've fined him before,
Well, definitely. Even with the fans, too. The one game I went to, I'm guilty of chirping Luka Doncic being a Spurs fan. The whole section of the crowd that I was in kept saying soft when Luka went up for shots, and he had a post fade where he hit it, and then he turned and flexed our side of the fans. So yeah, he gets caught up in the antics, but I kind of love it when NBA players do that. I mean, with the fans better than the refs, of course, because with the refs they just play it out, but
Yeah, and the biggest thing too is like that I think the NBA really needs to get back to is like, dude, where are the rivalries, dude?
Oh yeah, the rivalries are just
Where?
not there. Even the Celtics and Lakers, it's like, is that even a rivalry
It's
anymore?
not. It doesn't feel like it.
Yeah, I don't think so.
And NBA, if you're hearing this, like, stop fucking putting out rivalry week as two West teams playing each other and thinking it's a fucking rivalry. It's not. A rivalry, bro, is something where you either won a championship beating someone and you come back the next year and beat them. Like, what's a good example? Let's say when the Patriots lost Super Bowl 52,
Yeah.
and then they came back and won in 53.
No.
That's some cold hearted shit, right? But the NBA, dude, they're trying to build this rivalry. They're trying to bring it back to the 90s so bad that they're losing sight of what they do have. And they have a billion-dollar product. They have maybe 5 players in the NBA right now that are making over $500 million a year. Like, including with getting paid and with all the endorsements that all of these guys make now.
Yep.
Like, dude, Kevin Durant signed I think it was 2 years ago, signed a 25-year contract with Nike for $450 million.
That's crazy.
And, dude, that's just for them selling his fucking shoes. Like, that's just for them selling shoes. That's not for them, like, oh, come get some KD socks or, like, anything like that. It's like, dude, it's literally just his sneakers getting built and then getting processed and then getting put on the shelves and then people are buying them. And I hate to say it like this, but the Stephs, the Kevin Durants, I even hate to say it, the Chris Pauls. Yeah, the Stephs and the Chris Pauls of the world, like, they're just not going to be existent anymore. They're really reaching the stage of just, like, it's time to go. Like, the only person who really, in my opinion, has, like, okay, you can go when you want to go is Steph and LeBron. If you're not those two, kick rocks. That's just how it's going to be. The NBA doesn't look for any like alternative talent. They don't look for something that has beaten the product. In their eyes, nothing's beaten the product of Steph versus LeBron. They will try to do that as many times in a season, as many times in a playoffs as they can do. And that's the most important thing when you look at like the landscape of everything. Now, who do I see being like my number 2 face of the NBA is Jason Tatum. And I kind of alluded to him to a point earlier, but I think Jason Tatum has what it takes defensively, offensively, team leader wise. He's the shit. There's no person in the NBA right now that's competing with Jason Tatum, in my opinion. You put him up one-on-one against any forward in the league, the only one that I think could stop him is Kawhi.
Yeah.
And Kawhi might only even stop him twice, which is the crazy thing. And Kawhi is, in my opinion, probably the greatest defender of our generation, I would
definitely,
say.
if not one of the best ever, for sure.
Yeah. And for Kawhi, you have to look at it like, bro, that's supposed to be you. Like, if you're Kawhi, when you play Tatum, when you play LeBron, when you play any of these other good small forwards, you got to take it to him. You got to take it to him every single time. He does a good job doing that in the regular season. We just haven't seen it in the postseason the last few years because he's been hurt.
Yeah.
So health's a huge question mark with Kawhi. But health's never a question mark with Jason Tatum, but knock on wood, because there's really only one option for him. It's championship this year or they're breaking shit up. Brown's going somewhere, Tatum's going the other way, and Brad Stevens is going to blow it up because he's been a coach before. He knows when it can't win.
Yeah.
Let's see how far it can go with Tatum. But who's your second pick?
Oh, yeah, for my next pick, I'd definitely have to go with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I know that's everyone's thinking that at this point, but just in general, I think since he's been drafted, I thought he was a really good player. Like his first season, even though he only scored 10 points per game on the Clippers, given the option, like he played limited minutes, like how Wembanyama was. But in general, that helped him develop and actually play all 82 games is really important for a rookie. So just in general, he was able to like elevate his game that next season, and now he's averaging 31 a game with 5 rebounds, 6 assists. And I mean, he plays shooting guard, but just like how we've talked about, shooting guard, small forward.
Yeah, and the most important thing I think about the shooting guard small forward comparison is really like that really is the truth. Like Luca brings up the ball for the Mavs, LeBron brings up the ball for LA, Anthony Edwards brings up the ball for Minnesota, Booker brings up the ball for Phoenix. You go east, you go Tatum's bringing the ball up for Boston, if not Brown. Second in the East, you look at the Bucks, but it's really like Dame bringing the ball up there. It's not really like sometimes it's Connaughton, sometimes when Middleton is healthy, knock on wood, because I don't really understand why,
Even
but
even some plays Giannis brings up the ball,
Yeah,
which is
like-
kind of crazy.
So-
like how Wembanyama brings up the ball sometimes.
right. So it's just like it's crazy to see like these players that are 6'11", 6'10", 6'9", able to ball handle like this. We've never seen it. We've never seen an NBA like this where every single power forward can handle them. There's a guy out in OKC named Jalen Williams. He's got the best handle out of forwards I've seen.
Yeah.
Like, that kid has got it handled. I see why he was picked high. Like, I do. Now I look back on it and I'm like, damn, I was wrong about that kid. You know? OKC, what do they got, like 30 fucking picks in the vault?
Speaking of that, I have that pulled up right now just for this next year. So for 2024, they have Houston's pick, which is projected 1 to 5. I don't know how updated this list is, but the Houston picks projected 1 to 5. The Utah picks projected 1 to 10, and they have the Clippers picks, so they have 3 first rounds this year,
including their own, right?
Yeah. Well, they traded all the other one. Like they traded their own, so they have 3 other. Oh wait, no, they have 1 of their own and 2 other teams.
Gotcha.
And then for next year, they have 2 from other teams and 2 from their own, but one of them's Miami and one of them's Philly, and that's just for first round picks, let alone the second round picks they have every year.
Yeah, and Philly,
if they were to package some picks, they could definitely get some other good players if they wanted to.
I really like their addition of Hayward at the deadline. I think
that was a sneaky pick at the end.
It was, and I think that that's going to be the reason if they do get to the finals, that's going to be the person that makes the difference.
Yeah.
Because you have a veteran who's been not to the conference finals. Like, let's not get anything twisted. Like Hayward, when he was with the Celtics, yeah, he was good, but he was injury prone.
Yeah.
So, like, you can't really count on that. But what I will say is he's the perfect fucking person for that team.
Oh, yeah.
He's a facilitating wing who can hit a 3, who can hit a mid-range shot, and basically can get his own shot off at any given time.
Yeah.
And it's really telling that he has all the capabilities to be a veteran leader, and that's what he's going to have to be. He's going to have to show these young cats how you get it done in the playoffs, how you eclipse what you want to eclipse, how you want to achieve what you want to achieve. And every good team in the NBA has a good vet like that.
Yeah, of course.
Like, the Celtics, they got Horford. The Grizzlies, they got Marcus Smart. The Hawks, they got Clint Capella and Sadiq Bey, who have been there a minute. They've got, in Miami, they got Butler. They got Adebayo. In Charlotte, you got LaMelo Ball. You got Miles Bridges. There's so many people in this NBA that are just so damn talented that, like, where's the falling point with any of them? Like, you can't really have a falling point.
Yeah, or Derrick Rose on the Grizzlies, too. I mean, they have Marcus Smart, but Derrick Rose, too.
Right, exactly.
2 really veteran guys that you think would help them get out of 13th place, but I don't know. Maybe they're tanking.
Yeah.
Waiting for Jaws full
recovery.
Yeah, full recovery.
Yeah, and that sucks for the game of basketball, too, because I kept him off of the list just because he is hurt right now.
Yeah.
But let's not get anything fucking twisted here, guys, on the New England shakeup. John Morant is a fucking bucket.
Yeah.
He's a bucket. He knows when to go pick and roll. He knows when to dunk on your head. He knows when to hit it from 30. And I hate to say it like this, Ja, but you also know how to fuck up your career a little bit. Like, you gotta learn to stay in the straight and narrow. They're not gonna make you the face of the NBA if you're holding up Glocks and doing all this crazy shit. It just won't pan out. But I want to get into really our last few questions here, and really like the biggest deep dive. Who do you got as your winner NBA champion this year?
I mean, coming out of the Eastern Conference, I definitely have to say the Celtics, but I have a weird feeling it might be a Western Conference team, whether it's like Mavericks, Clippers, or Thunder. I know Thunder's a young team, so it'd be kind of ambitious to put them up there.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I don't see the Timberwolves, like if the NBA were to end today, I don't see necessarily the Suns, Kings, Pelicans doing it. And then in the East, I don't see the Heat, Magic, Knicks really doing it. I mean, the Cavs look good right now, but I think the Celtics put a quick end to that.
Yeah.
The Bucks are good, but aren't anything scary for the Celtics. I think it would be a tragedy if the Celtics don't make it out of the East. And then the Western Conference, it's kind of, could be a lot of different teams.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be a lot. My pick for NBA champion is a little under the radar, and might be a little far-fetched to say this. I'm going with the Clippers. I just think that they got way, way too much talent to falter into wave, and really just to not look any way, shape, or form like what they're supposed to look like. And we saw them in a shell of themselves those first 15 games that Harden was there. But now we're really seeing that chemistry come together and really look for like what is whole and like what is good. Yeah, and what is good is like they have a fucking facilitator in Harden who's averaging like 8.5 assists a game. And he's also they also have a 25 point per game scorer when healthy in Kawhi. And they also have a 20 point per game scorer in Paul George when he's healthy. So they literally have everything you need. What do you think, Cam, could stop them from reaching their destiny and reaching the goal?
I mean, themselves. I mean, there's only one basketball. So even though they have 4 like Hall of Fame potential players with Harden, Kawhi, Paul George, and Russell Westbrook, it's just about sharing the ball, getting the right looks, and just trying to stay healthy. I mean, Kawhi plays like limited minutes, and everyone jokes about the whole what is it, the workload, or
yeah,
you know
like
what I mean? I'm spacing on the exact thing, but load management.
Load management.
Yeah,
exactly.
So one of my buddies texted our boss, and he's like, load management day, because he was calling out like that's just like a joke, and with Kawhi like maybe playing, let's say 50 or 60 games a year.
Yep.
I mean, I think it's a good play in general, but I see where the fans get pissed. Like, there was a game, like a stretch of games where Popovich had benched Tony Parker, Ginobili, and Duncan. If you had paid to get a ticket like months in advance to get one of the last games and don't see any of them, I'd be pissed too.
Right.
To not see them, just of the fans aspect. But at the same time, if it's play 60 games or play 10 and tear your ACL and you're out for the whole year, I understand.
Right.
With any of that.
Yeah.
So if they can stay healthy, just facilitate the ball, they have 3 or 4 amazing scorers, and then they have definitely a lot of players on the bench.
Yeah.
Even like PJ Tucker is getting barely any shots, and he's kind of angry about how the Clippers are using him now, might just elevate in the playoffs.
Yeah, and also like you can't forget about Norman Powell coming off of their bench either. He's a great shooter. He's a great player. But guys, honestly, for this episode, I think we're pretty much wrapped up. So this is episode 10 of the New England Shakeup, and this is Cam and I's deep dive into the NBA. Cam, what do you got to say to the people, dude?
I hope I can just see some exciting playoff NBA action.
And we will see that for sure. But this is Cam and Alex signing off of the New England Shakeup. Peace.